G'day everyone, how are you? So I was just over there trying to sight in an aim point.
So those who didn't know, we're out at Billy Farm, which is Bill's farm, which is out east of Perth, which is where we run all our training from. And I'm drinking a exceptionally nice wine that was brought along by one of our regulars. And Trent's drinking a Sunkist.
And I'm going to have a Sunkist because, well, that's just the type of guy that I am. Cheers. Cheers. Alright.
Friday Night Live. So what have you got to talk about?
Tonight, stuff. What are you going to talk about?
So, for those people who don't know, there's been some new releases by Adler. Adler have now released their straight pull shotgun in a flat dark earth finish. You can also get the straight pull shotgun in a 22-inch rifle barrel and the lever action in a 22-inch rifle barrel, and we can get the barrels as a spare part.
Oh, right. When did that happen?
Today.
Today?
Today, yesterday.
Yeah, right, nice.
Yesterday, no, today. So, they're available to order. There is going to be a pre-order like we always do. There'll be a special pre-order price for the people that want to pre-order either the shotguns or the barrels. And so get your orders in now. So that's the new product side of things. That's...
Well, actually I've got, well, no, it's not really new, but I've got one as well. So we are going to be running a special on the CZ455 in the MDT chassis and the MSR carbon in the tactical style stock as well.
What are they? What are you talking
The CZ455.
about? Oh, so it's 22?
It's a 22 LR, yeah. Yep, 22 LR. So the CZ455 MDT comes in 22 LR. It's also in the MDT chassis. I think it's an LSS. I can't remember what price they were, Dave, originally.
No, they were $13.50 each.
About $13.50 each. We're actually going to have them on for $9.30. So $930. So just give us a ring if you're interested in one.
What's that generator power? Oh, the lights.
Yeah,
I was going to say otherwise kill the generator so people can get the nice ambience of the crackling fire and whatnot. You just got to stand near the camera and do that.
Yeah. So today we're actually, I don't know whether Zed's actually said it, but we're actually out here on a marksman's course. The boys are actually still shooting even though it's dark. So they're having
quite regular
fun
for one of these courses.
Yeah, there's we can get the camera over there at some stage. There's lots of muzzle flashes happening. So it's pretty awesome.
I haven't heard a round go off for a little while.
Yeah, they asked me about what they should do, so I said, oh, you guys should pack up and come over and have a couple of bevies. And
I should probably pack my stuff up too.
Yeah, but we can do that after.
Frank, what do you like to drink?
He's got a Sunkist.
Any air rifle specials they can ask.
Looks pretty good on.
Looks good.
Yeah.
We've got Storm Riders on the shelf, do we still?
Yeah, I've still got two of them left.
So we've got Storm Rider, if those people that don't know, the Adler have got two entry-level pre-compressed air rifles. One's called the Storm Rider, which comes in at about $430.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit more.
It's a little bit more now.
Oh, it's more because, well, if we've got a couple on the shelf, I'll do them at $430.
Yeah.
And the other one is the Outlaw, which is a much bigger, stronger, more powerful pre-compressed air rifle, but I'll still do them at a good price. I think they're $850 or something.
Yeah,
like that.
Yep, and the Outlaw is regulated, which...
Yeah, Outlaw has a regulator in it,
Yeah,
so it keeps your flashes consistent.
Yeah. Whereas the Storm Rider isn't, so keep that in mind. Plus, remember, you've got to buy a pump as well, hand pump or either a scuba attachment, because they are PCP.
Pre-compressed, yeah.
What else are we going to do? So what have you heard about this week? Anything exciting?
Apparently there's a new inspector at firearms licensing. I'm still waiting to confirm that. But apparently there's been a gentleman by the name of Inspector Cooper, which is now the inspector over at licensing. So, but that's only a rumour that I've heard. I haven't confirmed that. But he'll be replacing the previous inspector, which was a guy named Cubbage, who's now the Super Nintendo in charge of licensing.
Super Nintendo?
Yeah.
He's like a Mario brother.
Superintendent in charge of licensing. And so, yeah. So, and I believe Carl Fisher, who was doing the acting inspector job, he's gone back down to senior sergeant, so OIC licensing.
Hey, Andy's on it.
So that's the only licensing side of things that I know of. We've spoken about some products. Anything else going on in the industry? The West Australian Firearms Traders Association will probably have their AGM next month.
Oh, there was a little bit of complaints that I heard before about guns that were apparently banned. That were always banned.
So we've had some lists come through of firearms that are now banned or have been reconsidered, the licensing thing. So as far as we know, there's only a couple of guns that are new to the ban list, one being the PC9, which I think was
The Ruger?
Yeah, Ruger PC9. There's a Ruger Charger in 9mm.
9mm, yeah. That's
So
right.
it's I mean, that's a difficult one. I don't know that much about it, yeah? But if it's a Ruger Charger, so if it's a pistol in 9mm, then it's a pistol and it should be able to be licensed as a pistol. Now, what the police will be alleging is that people could put them into a 1022 stock, into a rifle stock, and then it would be a...
9mm semi-automatic.
Who are you?
Teddy's.
Oh, Teddy.
Teddy! Yeah, so
Teddy, if I hadn't drunk it already, I'd say cheers, Teddy, and I'm drinking some of Dave's Meshack, which you're not here to drink. So Teddy said he was going to come down and then never did.
As it happens, we have a 2002 Meshack.
Is that a 2002 Meshack?
Yes.
a
From
Meshack.
Grant Burge, who I'm sure would happy to be sponsoring if they could.
Oh, Grant Burge would happy to be sponsored with it. Yeah, I'm sure they would. Cheers, Teddy.
Up your bum, Teddy.
Beautiful.
Bruce, some ranges are currently open for members only that I'm aware of, and that includes handguns. I know the boys out at Whiteman Park doing the service pistol were back training and going down themselves just this week.
But that's all a club thing, yeah?
Yeah,
So there was never any enforced closure on any club,
I don't know about
pistol club,
Jarradale.
except for the
Pistols.
indoor clubs.
Still the members only? Yep, so still members only at Jarradale. I don't know about the boys down at Canning Club or OGSA or any of them. Okay, there's space though. We'll try and find out during the next week for you. Hello staff. Thank you for tuning in. Miss you.
Hey, Steph.
Is that your lovely
Miss
wife?
you.
That's my wife, yeah. She's my biggest fan. I sign stuff for her. Great.
Is my missus on there?
No, she hates you.
No, she's not.
Why are you standing for? You just like me tall.
Because I don't like sitting there because it's too close to the fire.
Oh, okay, fair
I'll
enough.
shift it.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Oh.
I'm fine. Because we're pretty far back, so it's not like I'm not in frame or anything, is it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
Vic,
fine.
Vic, you'll have to come back out again, mate. Do another long range refresher course, that's for
Vic.
sure. We've actually missed you and your 338. Yeah, Vic.
Oh,
Etherington.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Vic, we've got long range courses coming up,
just
and just have you on to us next week because you've done the course before.
Yep.
You're welcome to come out on one of those courses, yeah?
yeah.
I think the next one is the 17th and 18th of July, Friday, Saturday.
17th, 18th of July. There you go.
You actually got to give me a hand a little bit as well, but
You
we'll
don't
come
have
up
to do much.
We'll come up with something. All right. So just hit me up during the week. Teddy said that we're a pack of bastards.
We are, Teddy.
Yeah. That's for you, Teddy. Kylie wants us to zoom in on the beautiful platter.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So we better have a look at this. Have a look at what the lovely Mel's actually
Oh,
done
you're
for
doing
us today. This is fantastic. She actually, if you guys remember back a little bit, what?
Month ago.
Yeah,
Oh, a bit less.
5, maybe 4 episodes ago, we had a beautiful platter just like this, and it's
Oh,
actually
this is
provided
week 10.
by-
This is week 10 that we've been doing.
10 or
Friday
Week
night
10,
live.
episode 11.
Oh, Nick, yeah, Ox's members only at the moment. Thanks, Nick. Thanks for that, mate. Perfect. Still not getting a feed here, but what's going on? That would have been Mel's effort. That's right. Correct.
It's a little bit delayed.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Just a lot.
Just showing the platter now.
Yeah, right. a little bit hard to concentrate, to be honest, with this fire going and all this food sitting beside me. The boys are starting to come in at the moment, looks like. This fire must be drying them in because it's getting bloody cold out here, to be honest.
We're expecting 2 degrees tonight.
2 degrees, is it? Excellent.
So-
perfect night to spend in a tent or a swag.
So why don't you talk about what we learned today on the Marksman
I was
course?
just about to say that. So, for those people wondering while we're out here at Billy Farm, we did do a marksman course today. And the marksman course, I've actually got to pack my paperwork up for it. So it's a program we wrote, and it covers all the marksmanship principles. So basically, it can assume that the shooter has no prior experience in shooting. Yeah, so you can be absolutely raw and do a marksman course. It's really good for someone that's never shot before. But even if you've been shooting for a little while, there's obviously certain things that you're not.
It was the kettle.
Yeah, it's like all this steam coming. out. There's certain things certain techniques that maybe you haven't picked up over the years. So for people who are established shooters, you're not going to learn as much as obviously a new shooter, but there's still a lot to learn. So today what we did was we started off by making sure everyone's rifles were zeroed in. And so we're shooting from a stable rest, and we're concentrating on our marksmanship principles, and we're shooting a tight group, and we're shooting, zeroing the rifles in perfectly. And that's really important because then as we establish and we bring in new marksmanship skills and advanced marksmanship skills, we can establish as we go through, if we shoot from different positions or a timed event or something like that, if people have a technical issue with their ability, with their skills, we can sort of judge that by any movement in their groups. And so we do go through time shooting, we go through breathing exercises, we go through positional shooting and that sort of stuff. And then tomorrow we're going to be doing some shotgun shooting. We're probably going to try and mix a bit of it together and have a sort of like a 3-position shoot and a mixed shoot, like a combined, like a, what do they call it? Like a 3-gun shoot, like a 2 or a 3-gun shoot. So you're shooting shotguns, you're shooting rifles.
But very practical.
You're practically minded. So
Yeah.
we did a little bit of training today with red dots. You can also do that with open sights if you want to, but it's a bit easier to teach people to shoot with a red dot, especially if they're already shooting with scoped rifles. So it's really a course that for someone that wants to get into practical style shooting, they want to shoot out in the field and that sort of stuff. Something else we're going to do tomorrow is shooting out of the window of a ute. So a lot of people shoot out the window of the ute and have very poor technique when they do it. And so there's a few tips that we can give people when they're shooting in that sort of environment that'll improve their shooting. So we're going to go across that a little bit tomorrow.
Yeah, right. Nathan, is there a minimum age for the marksmanship course, like for a father and daughter enrolment?
No.
That's
So
just-
because we're shooting rifles, there's no minimum age. Yeah. If we were training people in pistols, well then there'd be a 12-year age limit. But
So-
but no, there's no limit.
So that's actually something that we are looking forward and looking to do, is get fathers, sons, daughters, mums, stuff like that out on a course where we can teach not only the parents but the child, for lack of a better word, in a safe, fun environment as well. So we've got to try and put that together. Shut up, you.
Where's your young bloke?
Yeah, currently at work.
Working.
So if that's something that interests you and you want to get onto it, give us a call because we will try and put together a course to suit. So just let us know.
There's actually something that's been quite successful over East, and that's courses specific for women. So women that want to get into shooting, and maybe they don't want to go to a rifle range where it's quite a patriarchal sort of environment.
Chicks with guns.
Yeah, and so they want to learn in a thing. And it's unfortunate now that Nay's not working for us at the moment because she'd be the perfect person to come out here and teach women how to shoot. But maybe that'll happen in the future.
Kimberley, yes, there will be a license that's necessary. So the adult of that grouping will need to have a license and will need to own their own firearm. But apart from that, obviously, anybody that's under 18 can't have a firearms license, so they can just run off that one.
So you're just going to sit here and read everyone else's comments and pretend like you're you're contributing.
Seems successful so far.
Well, that's what I do. That's all I've done so far. Oh, apart from when we first started, where I picked on the police a little bit.
Well, what have you done this week?
I've worked my ass off.
Tell us a bit about that, right?
Oh, it was interesting all day. What I did was I got to work at 8:30 every morning, and I answered phones, and I spoke to people, and I sold stuff, and then at the end of it, I packed up and I went home. It was
Did you have
really...
any interesting quotes or anything?
I had an interesting customer for sure, but I don't think we'll go into him on live TV.
Why not?
Because he
Okay.
he probably doesn't want me to call him a dickhead.
So Trent almost punched on with someone this week.
And I think as a retail staff, I should be allowed to fight one customer
Hey,
per day.
Waypole. Hey, Waypole.
Per day. But I didn't. I withheld, and I didn't even call him anything nasty.
Got my third.
And I actually helped him, which was really, really
Are
lucky
you
for
and
him.
your wife keeping up?
So,
or-
Yeah.
I don't
but that's my
drink all
day.
your wine.
Oh, and I got to deal with him
Well, I
on a
do,
day-to-day
but
basis.
I won't feel bad about it.
Like,
I want to drink
it's
all your
like
wine and not feel
herding
bad about
fucking
it.
cats.
Piss it back into
Is
the
what it's
bottle.
like. Herding fucking cats every
No,
day.
if you sew your dick up.
Righto.
Thanks, Bill.
You can answer Blake's.
You didn't answer Blake's.
Who the hell's Blake?
Blake Bell.
Blake Bell. What's he saying?
You might get a
How
newer
it's
feed than
going
his.
to
His might be a bit behind yours.
What he asked?
Hey Trent, how are you, Chef? Sheep, sorry, Chef, Sheep. I thought he said chef.
Oh, hey Blake. How are you, mate? Yeah, I'm good. A little bit cold.
Just like to thank Dave for our fire. Is it in picture?
Blake was actually
You can see.
He was in. Not so long.
I'll move back
It
a
is
little bit.
Beautiful fire, Dave.
It's just what you need out here.
Yeah, I'm looking.
It's going to be 4 degrees tonight.
2 apparently.
Help yourself to
It's cuddling weather.
It's changing. Oh, that's Luke's not
Get
turning
your
up.
15 minutes
Little
of
bastard.
fame on FNL. Oh, right.
Luke,
Oh yeah.
Luke, he was supposed to turn up. He reckons that he was going to keep me warm, but no, I had to pull out. Apparently, my dog's too important.
Zane's sleeping the day
If
tonight.
only you learned to pull out, you wouldn't have 3 kids.
Nothing is fucking. I'm never pulling out. Pull that
That's what
game.
curtains are for.
Yeah, that's right.
Fuck no. This is degenerating as it goes on.
It is. It's going to get bad because all the boys are standing right there, fucking
I need to
egging
come
us
over
on
and
too.
eat the cheese. Come on.
Do you allow bystanders at these courses?
No.
No, not really. It'd be quite boring too. To be honest, Daryl. Sorry, mate.
It's a long way to come just to watch.
No,
You
Bell's
got
the cook.
to come along. You got to either contribute
Yeah.
or shoot.
Yeah.
All right. So is
What
this
else
going to
we
be the shortest
Probably.
shortest Friday night ever?
Well, it's because we've got this awesome spread on. There's alcohol. All the guns are away before one of you jumps on and starts having a cry about that again. There is no guns.
Well, you did Nosler last
Right.
time.
They're all. What
All the guns are away. You did Nosler last time. So
Yeah.
talk about Haunted. Off you go.
How about talk about that?
How many boxes of them did we bring?
Of what?
Hornady.
Hornady.
I got some 243 rounds which have got Haunted projectiles in
Oh,
it.
well, they would have the 87 grain VMAX in it, and that's actually quite a nice round.
So who created a Haunted?
Mr. Hornady.
100% correct.
Excellent.
Well done.
Yes, I'm 2 for 2 on these.
So did you get a
Here
loophole
we
hat
go,
or
here we go. What was Hornady's first projectile? Number 1.
Serious?
Well, that's what it was for Nosler. Well, that would be the first one.
Nosler's first projectile. Can you even remember what it was? I told you the answer last week.
Yeah, but I don't really listen to you, to be honest.
It was
you-
a petition.
Oh, what's the petition? I do remember that, now that you mentioned it. What was Hornady's first one?
All right.
No, I don't know either.
Missed it.
Who knows? If you know, let us know. I'll give you a
Oh, we'll
hat.
talk about Dave can come on as special guest and talk about Burger.
I don't know enough about burger.
You
Who
can talk
created Burger?
Mr. Burger.
Walt Burger.
Well,
There you go.
burger.
Ronald McDonald.
The golden arches.
Yeah, that's right. You Gary from bloody Albany's on.
Hey, Gary.
Hello, Gary.
Alright, so if you haven't already guessed, we're incredibly unprepared for this.
We're not unprepared. We've had a lot on.
No, we're unprepared as usual, and we don't have as much shit to talk about as usual. Usually I can make up something to talk about within half an hour, but I don't have anything.
And we could also get it off the shelf.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I've got a computer.
Which we can't get off
Which
the
I don't
shelf.
have.
Well, and Bill, normally Bill takes up the first hour anyway, talking about shit.
Talking about
So-
old stuff.
Hello,
I
this
talk
is,
about old shit.
hello, this is my 303. He hasn't done that today. Hi, Bill.
Right. Any other questions?
No, not that I'm
We'll
seeing.
can it there then.
Has anybody else seen anything?
We don't want to waste anyone else's Friday night live. Friday night.
No, they can just
Well,
hang out and
you'll
watch us
come back
eat.
in half an hour.
You're just going to leave it on like
Yeah.
some creep.
Who wants to just sit there and watch us?
Do
do
you
our
want
thing?
some, like, it's like having a homeless person sitting at the window watching you eat.
Daryl reckons that we are the two adult versions of Bert and Ernie. I think that you'd find that they were adults, mate.
I think
I'm just gonna
we're
throw
the
that out there.
juvenile versions of Bert.
They
and
might have
Ernie.
been puppets, but they were adults.
Weren't they gay?
Oh, I hope so. I've always thought they were.
Hope so.
Yeah. Oi, Muppet freedom. I mean, let's face it, they've got a hand up their ass. If they're not gay, they're fucking real close.
Muppet lives matter.
Yeah, that's right. He reckons, though,
What colour are the Muppets?
we're bloody hilarious, but I do learn something once a week.
No one wants.
What
to
have
be
you
on
learnt this
camera,
week?
to be honest. We don't want to be on camera.
Catherine,
I'm not going to throw someone else under the bus.
why? Do it every other time.
Only you.
Ooh, no, he didn't. Oh, Teddy's still crapping on about wine.
Hey Teddy.
Yorick
we're
reckons
enjoying
it was a
it,
30
we're not.
caliber 50 grain. I won 50 grain Spire Point.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's correct, mate. You won a hat. Well done.
Just give me one anyway.
I'm just gonna give you a hat. Fuck it. Call me on Monday.
Oh, who won last week?
Oh, you already come in and picked up the knife. He was stoked, eh?
Oh, good.
Yeah, Travis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
answer from last week was Nosley got in this shit for publishing BCs that were incorrect. Yeah.
Wow.
It's not.
Well, they
It's
weren't
not that they were
incorrect.
incorrect. They messed with the atmospheric conditions under the BC. So, and all these guys will know that the atmospheric conditions can have a big effect on the efficiency of a projectile. Obviously, if the air is thinner, the projectile is going to fly much better. It's going to shoot higher. It's effectively going to have a higher BC. And they didn't test their projectiles under what we call the ICAO standard, which is so every projectile gets tested on the same standard, and so we can compare the projectiles in the same conditions. Nosler used the wrong conditions
But-
to make their projectiles look better.
Manufacturers
They
have
got
been
shit for it.
manufacturers have been doing that for many years. I mean, Holden keep claiming
but
they
they
make
never-
fucking big horsepower, but
then they
I'd
never-
like to
they
see
never-
that.
But that was before they created the standard.
Fucking Holdens. I hate it. Anyway, oh, Gary reckons that he went out shooting the other night and got 61 roos, 1,500,
61 room.
1,500 kilos.
Oh, professional.
Yeah,
yeah. Well,
That's pretty good.
that's not bad. I mean, what are they paying for roos at the moment, though?
Don't know, what are they paying for roos at the moment, Gary?
Anyone know?
Probably money.
I think it's only like it was down around 81 cents or something.
Oh, look, we've got this problem child that keeps popping up, Melanie. Melanie
Mel.
Cousins. Can you tell me the difference between a long range course and the marksman's course?
I'm trying to keep you
Well,
going.
the food, generally. Mel. Did you see me winking on both like the camera and at you?
So the marksman course concentrates on up to sort of 300 to 400 metres marksmanship skills, shooting small groups. Long range course, it talks about extending your existing skills in shooting out to distances throughout the transonic zone of your projectile. So on 223, typically it's only 450 metres if you've got a 1 in 12 twist barrel. On a 308, you're talking around 800 metres. 300 in mag, you're talking about 1,200 metres, something like that. And so we'll extend your existing skills out to be able to hit targets at that sort of distance. But more importantly, it's about hitting the target with the first round. Anyone can walk around onto a target, yeah? Anyone can sort of fire and then just move their point of aim from there. What we're talking about in a long range course is taking everything into account, and so you've got the best chance you've got of hitting the target with the first round. So that's the main difference. Melanie, was it?
Melanie, it was Melanie.
Yeah. There you go, Melanie.
Melanie. Thanks for the question though, great, you win a hat. 76 cents per kilo is what a kangaroo's paying now.
That's fuck all.
Ammunition doesn't even cost that.
Righto.
Barely get a return on the round.
Yeah. They're throwing rocks at them, Gary.
76 pence. Well, that's true. I mean, who can load ammo for They have to be loading ammo for 20 cents a round.
How many pounds is it?
Jake Spencer reckons Granddad never had a problem with long range shooting in Gallipoli.
30? But you don't know what the dress weight is.
No worries, Spencer.
So, what do you say? 1,500 roots, 800 kilos?
61 roos, 1,500 kilos, 76 cents a kilo.
Oh, 1,500 kilos.
Yeah.
Of how many roots?
61.
61.
So it's like 25 kilos per root. 76 a kilo is what? 550, 600 bucks?
Kimberly, there's quite a number of
That's really fucking hard work.
night vision scopes on the market. It really depends on how much you want to spend as to what the best one's going to be, because they're going to do different things for different
There's no
price ranges.
demand for it.
So if you wanted to go, say, a day-night scope such as an ATN Excite, Excite 2 or Excite 4K, it's going to cost you substantially less than a dedicated night vision scope. And by a lot, by probably $3.5 grand. So it really depends on what you wanted to get out of it. There's clip-on night vision as well. So if you want to just stick with your traditional scope and throw a night vision clip on the front, somebody like Pulsar, stuff like that, and Pard, they do those. But it really depends on what you want to do with it and what you expect out of it.
And binoculars? Some shooters also like going for a thermal monocular, a night vision monocular.
Yeah, so
And they'll get a nice regular optic sight.
when me and my mates go out shooting,
I should put that sound up as well.
can you stand here? Because you look taller than me.
Okay, right, we'll swap it out.
Oh, that's hot. Well, if you're talking about scopes,
Oh, nice.
if you're talking on about scopes, can you explain the difference between the first focal and the second focal plane?
Yeah, okay, I can explain the difference between first focal plane and second focal plane. So, a first focal plane scope, as the image gets bigger, as you increase in magnification, the reticle gets bigger in proportion. Yeah. Second focal plane scope or image moving scopes, only the image gets bigger. So as the power increases, the reticle stays the same size. So the benefit to a first focal plane scope is that if you've got a ranging reticle, so you've got a mil reticle or MOA reticle, which has got hash marks on it, those hash marks, the distances between them relative to the target stay the same, doesn't matter what power you're on. So you can do range estimation, you can do hold-offs and that sort of stuff on any power. With a second focal plane scope, the benefits to that is that as you increase the power, the reticle doesn't get big and thick and cover up the target. So you can get a much more precise aim on a second focal plane scope.
Plenty of different reticles out there for range.
Well, I mean, nowadays you've gone to rangefinders, yeah? So rangefinders are getting cheaper, they're getting easier to get accessible. They're only, $300 or $400 for the base level one that'll get you out to 600 metres, which is what most people do. If you want to get out to, a mile or so, then maybe you've got to spend $700 or $800. But they're very easy to use, just point and click. And so ranging on a reticle isn't as good as it used to be. So generally speaking, when someone's looking at a target that's at a range, more than 200 metres, more than 300 metres, that sort of stuff. Generally speaking, when someone's using their eyes just to estimate the distance, they usually call it within one standard deviation of 50 metres. So, which means they're usually 50 metres either side of the target. So you might be looking at something that's 350 metres away, and on average, people will say it's somewhere between 300 and 400 metres. Yeah, that's as close as you can get. Sometimes people get closer, and sometimes people bullshit and reckon they're better than what they are. But when you actually get them out in the field, you work out that they're not better than what they are. If you're using a reticle system to call your aim, so if you know the height of the target, you can use your reticle in a first focal plane scope to work out how, based on the height of the target, how far away it is. But you usually got a standard deviation of around about 10 metres. So usually if something's 500 metres away, for example, you'll usually call it somewhere between 490 and 510 in that sort of range. And depending on the height of the target, that might be good enough, it might not be good enough. You might miss the target, you might go over the top, or you might drop short. If you're using a laser rangefinder, you're within 1 metre standard deviation, and that's plenty accurate enough to hit most targets at most ranges.
So one of the questions on here is, why does Trent have patches on his knees? Well, it's because every time I fall from carrying all these bastards, I need something to lean on. That's what they're there for. So thanks.
Double-handed Gluck Gluck 3000 is what we're calling.
The Gluck Gluck. Fucking hell.
Because that's the noise you make.
Oh, is that what it is? I don't even fucking
Is there
go,
light
I don't
inside?
gag anymore. Yep, thanks Ron.
Was there another question in there that I was supposed to answer?
Oh, there might have been. Melanie Cousins again has asked
For
about
fuck's sake.
had asked to explain parallax error. Well, we've already done that, so
Didn't I do that last week?
we did that last week. Sorry, Mel, you should have watched last week. If you were a real fan, you would have.
Oh, that's a bit rude.
I learned about it today.
Mac asked if we've shot any cats yet.
No. No, here. But shoot every cat you can find. Yeah? So, this is a big mistake by a lot of people.
Be careful saying that.
No, fucking. Big mistake by a lot of people is complaining to the owner of a cat that their cat's shitting on their yard. Because as soon as you do that, you'll be implicated in the death of that cat. Doesn't matter how it dies. What you're better off doing is just killing the cat and burying it.
I'm social distancing myself from that comment.
Or just throw it out on the road
Right.
and say someone that got run over. Because then you won't be implicated in it.
Cats don't swim very well
Every
when they're in
cat
cages.
You can find.
Oh! Stop it!
What part of that stuff?
Another question
What?
coming, don't worry.
Kill every...
We got a question.
So I reckon we're going to get another letter in the mail soon.
There's a question coming.
Oh my god. Oh well, there's a lot of thumbs up and smiley faces for that one, so
must be saying something right.
I'm
there.
good to see that everybody's in agreement.
You need lights.
So,
I thought you might have wanted lights.
So actually, dogs are becoming a big issue at the moment,
You need a torch?
and we're going to actually be trying to work with some people that are got properties bordering on station country or on station country, and trying to get rid of the wild dogs because they're becoming a bigger and bigger issue now. And so you'll hear about more about that though in future episodes.
They can't see you. Dom.
Chris Munro, Beretta M922 or Beretta 87
No,
target
they
for
can see you,
first
but I'm
pistol.
telling these guys that they can sit
Yeah.
around.
I quite like the
If
M922.
you guys want to sit over here,
the 87's not a
you
bad
won't be on
option as
camera.
well. Did you want to stick with the Beretta if you like that style of feel? Remember Glock's bringing out the 44 and 22 as well. Or if you want to go for something more like a 1911, you got CSG, you've also got Colts, stuff like that. So maybe hold a couple first before you decide, but I like the M922, 87. Another question?
What's the question?
Beretta M922 or Beretta 87 target? Let's just say it really depends on what you like when you hold it.
Yeah,
Because that's
it's a real preference thing,
Sort of
and it
personal
really depends on hand size and grip angle and that sort of stuff. So some people will feel more natural to shoot one over the other.
no, it's not a Glock in 44 mag, it's a Glock 44.
So 44 mag is a rim cartridge, and rim cartridges tend not to work very well in semi-autos. Walther made one, and Hammerly made one in 32. But generally speaking, rimless cartridges work better in semi-autos.
Twist around this way a little bit, because that's getting off.
We need more wood.
What else we got in there?
Ah,
What are the pros and cons of thermal versus night vision?
Pros and cons of thermal versus night vision.
Thermal's better and more expensive.
Yeah. Thermal works on heat, night vision works on green.
That is the most stupid description.
Oh,
I don't know. I thought it was pretty accurate.
yeah, it's pretty close.
So both of them work on the
Amplification.
no. So there is a big spectrum called the electromagnetic spectrum, and it goes from radio waves, microwaves, infrared, and then there's a small part of the spectrum which is visible light, the stuff that you can see. So that's all what we can see right now is electromagnetic radiation. Then you've got ultraviolet. Ultraviolet is the lowest energy electromagnetic radiation that can actually knock electrons and shit off off the atoms in your body and cause cancer. Then you've got X-rays and gamma rays. Inside the spectrum that we can see, just under that, is the infrared spectrum. Night vision works off high energy infrared spectrum. Thermal works off body heat, which is in the lower area of infrared spectrum. So whereas thermal will actually pick up heat, night vision picks up, just amplifies all the infrared spectrum. Yeah, and there's pros and cons to both, but generally speaking, thermal is going to be the way to go. Yes, because generally speaking, when you're out hunting, you're shooting warm-bodied animals, they show up much better through a thermal optic. The downside is that thermal optics are much more expensive, especially for the sort of ones that you need in an optic to actually shoot something. Yeah? How was that? Oh, I just moved the car.
Can't see much past these lights.
We might have upset Dave, that smells wrong as well, so it's smelling Dave going on.
It's bloody bell again. What's the average wind speed of a swallow?
I don't know what you mean, an African or European swallow?
Well, do you want it in metric or in imperial? Do you want miles per hour or do you want... What? No, that's alright.
And are we laden or
Don't
unladen?
ask a question and expect to fucking
Yeah.
not an answer.
We're carrying coconuts?
Is it carrot coconut?
Well, it's a Monty Python quote.
Yeah, well. Yeah. Cool. Alright, what else do you want to talk about? I want to get stuck into this food, to be honest. Maybe we call this one out.
Hang on, there's a question.
I said that
Oh,
before.
hang on, there's a question coming apparently.
Someone answer a question that he'll answer, like the viscosity of beer or crap cars,
Yeah, Holden's.
Ford,
No, Holden's.
or
Anything with a Chev badge. Isn't it funny how it looks like a
what about
fucking sanitary pad?
the density of
Isn't that fucking amazing?
nitropyl or something, or it asks something about explosives or rocks or
Mel, the meaning of life, the universe, and everything.
isn't it like
I don't know, but
42?
I'm losing
42.
the fucking will of it, to be honest.
42.
Is what's going to happen. 42. Yeah, that's right. Thursday.
Meaning of life becomes self-evident once you have children.
Alright, so Gary, question. I have a 6 by 18, 6 to 18 by 50, and I set it to 12 times. I group a 10 cent piece of 50 yards, but I can't hit anything over 100. Why is this?
Group a 10-cent piece of what distance?
At 50 yards, but I can't hit anything over 100.
What calibre?
204.
Well, I mean, 204s are incredibly flat shooting. Generally speaking, accurate. I mean, if you're grouping at 50 and you're not hitting anything more than 100, it's probably got something to do with the pink thing hanging onto the gun.
Yeah, what do you mean you can't hit anything? Like, are you grouping a 20 cent piece at 100, or are you grouping a...
No, you said 10 cent piece at 50.
I know, but is it getting... How big is it at 100? Is it 4 meters at 100? Is it this big at 100? There's plenty of other questions there that need to be answered.
I think the answer will be sign up to a Beaten Firearms Marksman course,
Yes.
and we'll fix that for you.
Cool.
I think the next one-
Answered, Gary.
Next one's in
Dunno, mate.
October, I think.
Are we done?
Alright, thank you for tuning in, guys. Great.
Thanks
Thank
everyone.
you.
We really appreciate it. Sorry we didn't have much material, but we'll be back next week with Friday Night Live,
Take
and we'll
care.
advertise it next time as well.
Yeah, cool. Catch you.
Done.